see my notes too. Is that right?
No, I just see your PowerPoint on the left.
You do. Do you see
Yeah,
any of the PowerPoint?
just the PowerPoint.
Okay, good. That's what I wanted you to see. All right, cool. Thank you so much for joining. I'm excited to have all of you here to kick off our 7-day cortisol reset. I want you to know that it is super easy. It's not going to be something that's going to feel like, I can't do this and I wish I had never met Emily. Um, uh, it's anyone looking to identify your stress triggers, focus on self-care, and that's going to reset your entire nervous system. So as we embark upon the most stressful time of the year, the most time of the year, I thought it was a good time to do it, right? Plus, we just had the crazy election stress, so we're probably coming off of a high cortisol, just like really high intense time. So I thought it was a good timing, and I hope you guys do too. So I just want, for those who don't know me, just a tiny little bit about me. I'm going to be your coach. My qualifications are that I'm a health coach and a fitness trainer, a degree in psychology and women's studies. And I'm really excited to just walk you through the next 7 days. So why a cortisol reset? Our bodies are not designed to be constantly, can you see this? Are we still seeing the pages? Um, they're not designed to be constantly on
So
their
it's not in like full presenter mode. Like we see your little like side thing and then
phone.
the
Sorry.
screen. Like no, it's okay. I just we can't see the
This is
whole
a
slide.
PDF because I don't have two screens on the road here. I just have my laptop screen. So it's in a
Gotcha.
PDF
Okay.
format. Do you see
Can you,
it's a little bit
can
different
you
than I
mute? Can you
normally.
have everybody mute, please, in the background?
Hmm. There we go. All right. So our bodies, as you know, weren't meant to be living the lifestyle that we live. And as women, especially, we usually tend to be juggling an overwhelming number of responsibilities at any given time. And let me give you some statistics to kind of show you what I'm talking about. According to Katie Mangino, a gender expert who's written a book called Equal Partners: Improving Gender Equality at Home, you may have read that book, you may know her. It is well documented that the majority of families in the US that women do more of the household chores compared to men. And even when both spouses work full-time jobs, this is happening. So in different sex relationships, women do about 65% of the physical household work. Chores that are routine, like cooking and cleaning, for instance, tend to fall on women. And intermittent chores like finances or lawn mowing are more likely to be done by men. So they're doing stuff, but they're doing stuff like not on a everyday basis. And that takes a tax on something that is called the mental load. And it's related to this unpaid work that everyone does. Just women are more likely to be responsible for the mental load of running the household, planning and organizing, emotional labor, um, women are 3 times more likely to manage their children's schedules if they have children. They're 2 times more likely to manage the household and 3 times more likely to volunteer at school or in their community. And so women's unpaid work is almost double that of men's. Why am I telling you this? I don't know. Nearly 60 women say that they're stressed out due to that mental load, right? Like it's contributing to them having more stress. So it's more important for us to concentrate and focus on resetting ourselves as well. I'm not here to fix gender inequality, although I would love to. And there are lots of resources for broaching these topics with your partner. So if this is a huge underlying cause of your stress, it might be good to have that conversation. And if you just Google mental load, there are all kinds of like resources for broaching the topic. There's a really great podcast called We Can Do Hard Things, and there's an episode on that very topic of like talking to your partner about helping out around the house. Okay, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about cortisol and its relation to stress. Cortisol is the primary hormone released in the body to when there is a stress response. So when the body perceives a threat, the hypothalamus in the brain activates your sympathetic nervous system, and that triggers your adrenal glands to release cortisol. Cortisol is going to help the body stay alert during times of stress. It increases your blood sugar level, it enhances your brain's use of glucose, and it slows down some non essential functions. So, after a stressful event, the body's cortisol levels will return to normal and repair itself. And the problem is if the stress persists, like if you have chronic stress, your body will start adapting to higher levels of cortisol, just the way it adapts to, you build a tolerance for a drug, for alcohol, for caffeine, for any of those things. Your body will start saying, okay, I can operate at a higher level, and that stresses your body. Um, so chronic high cortisol levels can lead to health problems, and some foods will contribute to those high cortisol levels, like processed meats, high sugar foods, caffeine, alcohol. And this is why chronic stress puts your health at risk, because your body reacts to stress the same way, whether it's, I've got too many projects to juggle at work, or I'm being chased by a saber-toothed tiger. Your body does not know the difference between those two things. It's a little more nuanced than that, but I think you get the idea that stress is stress on your body, and over time, it's going to take its toll. So let's get back to, why are we doing a cortisol reset? Cortisol is necessary. It's a necessary hormone in your body, and maintaining the balance level is what's crucial. So with this reset, we want to reset your cortisol baseline, meaning how much is released and needed to be effective in the stress response. So if you have a chronic stress and your baseline has gone up, we're going to bring that baseline down with a little reset. And you can do this anytime. You can do it over a course of, weeks, or you can just return to doing a 7-day reset anytime you want. Um, when you reset, it's going to help with, especially like with women of our age, with declining estrogen and progesterone levels that are happening during perimenopause and menopause. Your cortisol levels are already on the rise. Like, it's already like a stressful event for your body. So that's already happening without any other stressful events that you probably have in addition to. So this particular reset that I'm going to coach is based on Dr. Amy Shah. She's one of my favorites. It's her research, and she has suggestions for simple steps that you can take to bring those stress level down. So biological stress is a complex response. It involves your body's nervous system, your endocrine, your immune, your autonomic, and your metabolic systems. And when a person perceives a situation as stressful, the body stress response is triggered, and it affects so many systems that lead to these physiological changes. So it affects the nervous system, the endocrine system, the cardiovascular system. Your heart beats faster and stronger, and the blood is redirected to your organs. As far as your metabolic system is concerned, it releases glucose and fats from storage to provide energy. And, there's some short-term adaptive behaviors where the body becomes more alert and focused, and temporarily inhibits non-essential functions like your digestion and your sex drive. Your parasympathetic nervous system, it helps the body recover from a stressful event. So learning to relax can help you activate that parasympathetic nervous system and reduce stress. Unmanaged stress can lead to health problems like high blood pressure, heart disease, stroke, obesity, diabetes, all the things, right? All the things that we're always talking about. So this cortisol reset is going to help you identify what triggers a stress response in you personally, and it's going to give you practical ways to manage those triggers. We're going to use habit stacking. So just like in my regular program, right? I'm not going to give you 7 things to do over 7 days. I'm going to give you one nugget every day. Try and do your best with that. And then, you can say, okay, I did all 7 days, and now I have 7 things that I've changing or managing, or maybe I'm only going to pick 6, or maybe I'm only going to pick 3, but I'm going to do that for a few more weeks. So I want you to take this information as education. And if you're feeling better because you're doing one of these habits, then keep doing that habit. So it's really just about lowering that baseline for you and being able to come back to what we think is healthy. So starting today and over the following 6 days, I'm going to give you one thing a day to focus on that's going to improve how the cortisol is operating in your body. What I give you today is going to be something that you'll carry into tomorrow. So the tip today is going to be on caffeine. And then tomorrow you're going to do the caffeine one, and tomorrow's. I'm going to give you all of these, so it's not a secret. But this is called habit stacking, and it's a great way to incrementally incorporate new habits or undo bad habits. And because we're doing this for a week, we're going to learn one a day. And during this time, I'd love for you to keep a little journal. You don't have to go out and buy a fancy notebook. You can just jot them down on your phone or a notepad. Just kind of pick a time of day. Maybe it's before bed. Maybe you're good in the morning and you want to jot it down. But how are you feeling? And why do you think you're feeling that way? And what did you do? What habit did you incorporate? And how did it affect, how you're feeling? So just keep some notes so that you can come back to them at the end and see, what's going on. There's no judgment around it. Feelings are facts. You're just going to keep these notes. They're just for you. But I would suggest that you do that because otherwise we're just kind of going in this blindly and we don't have anything to reflect back on. And I think if you're like me, I can't remember how I felt yesterday. So it's good to just jot them down and see if there's any improvement. Um, I'm going to tell you what these 7 habits are. I'm going to send you a text message each day with a video and a little slide on how to implement the habits. So, what are the 7 cortisol reducers? Today's our first day, right? We're going to talk about reducing caffeine intake and then rejuvenating exercise. So, what does that look like? Number 3 is calming remedies and adaptogens. So you might be doing a lot of this stuff already, and that's awesome. So we're just going to keep adopting new things. I want you to try and increase your sleep duration on day 4. On day 5, we're going to talk about calming foods. On day 6, we're going to focus on more time in nature. And then last but not least, heat therapy. You know I love my sauna. So what does today look like? Give me 2 seconds here. Got all my cover up on my notes. So, reducing caffeine. I want you to try and cut down as much as 15% less caffeine than normal. I'm not going to tell you not to drink your coffee if you're a coffee drinker, and if you're like me, you've already had your coffee. So instead of having my 1.5 cups, I had like 3/4 of a cup, right? I just cut it in half. I'm not going to have any more, as much as I want more. Um, the thing is, we're talking about any kind of caffeinated food. So it's not just coffee, right? It can be tea, it can be, if you're taking energy drinks, I warn you about those anyway, but um cut down on all the caffeine. And I should tell you that caffeine isn't necessarily bad for you. That's not why we're cutting down. In fact, some optimal amounts can be beneficial, can help fuel your workouts. There's a lot of benefits that come from caffeine. And it can help you get through the day with mental clarity. But if you overload, it's like anything else. If you overload your system with it, that's when the problem is created. It's a stimulant, right? So you can build up tolerance. Um, and so the reset's going to be beneficial to kind of cut back and wean yourself off, and so that a smaller amount is more effective. So if I can get the same effect from 3/4 of a cup of caffeine over time, that's going to help me. First of all, I don't have to drink as much coffee. A typical cup has about 90 to 100 milligrams, and anything between 90 to 300 milligrams is fine per day. But more than that is going to start to interfere with your sleep. Um, and, it does raise your cortisol levels a little bit, but a reasonable amount is totally fine. It's going to stimulate your central nervous system. It does trigger the release of the stress hormone, but it's really for an energy boost. So the other thing I want you to really try and avoid is taking caffeine or like later in the day. Um, that's going to really mess with your sleep and have some negative health consequences as well. So get that energy boost. I also love the ritual of drinking coffee. So if you're thinking, yeah, like fine, I can have a 3/4 of a cup, but I like to sip it all morning. So what can you do about that? You can go half and half, right? You can mix your full high octane beans in with your decaf, right? If you want to drink 3 cups and you're having half decaf, right? You can still have your 3 cups if half of it's decaffeinated. Um, Sometimes I water down my coffee, which most people probably think is gross, so I won't ask you to do that. But there's a bunch of ways that you can cut down on your consumption if you do it incrementally. So if you're on 3 cups a day, maybe go down to 2 cups today and to a cup and a half tomorrow and to 1 cup the next day. Or over spread that out over the 7 days. Just a reduction is all we're looking for. I don't want to make this complicated. I don't want to make this so painful for you that you're like, F that, I'm out. Um, so especially if you've been drinking a high amount of caffeine, you may experience some withdrawal symptoms. So that includes headache, fatigue, irritability, difficulty concentrating. In more rare cases, or you can kind of have flu-like symptoms. You could be shaky, your vision could be blurred, you might have constipation, you might even have chest tightness. So it's really going to depend on where you are at now with your caffeine intake. But those symptoms are going to subside. So if your first day or two are really bad, just know that there's some hope on the other end of that, and you're doing something good for yourself. And if your symptoms are that bad, you might want to just take a minute to reflect on, why does your body need that much caffeine to function? And is that good for me? Not judging, just asking the question. So, some benefits you might experience from lower caffeine is better sleep, fewer headaches, less anxiety. Your blood pressure is going to be lowered. Your mood's going to be stable. You're not going to have any crashes. So, with that, taper off and let me know how it goes. Oh, I did not have the reducing caffeine slide up, but now I'm ready to take questions. I don't know how far in we are. We've got 7 minutes. Let me know what you're thinking about this and if you have any questions for me. No questions? Usually this is the best part. Is I 1,000% crystal clear? Awesome. All right, so I have you all in a group chat. I will be sending out uh, a little video with a slide. So this slideshow goes on. I have a slide for every single day and a little kind of quick tip for you on how you can keep those levels down. And I'm also going to send you some, just some little supporting documents that you can use. Not with each one, but where it makes sense. So you'll be hearing from me every day for the next following 6 days, and we'll see how we do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for joining. I loved having you.
Thanks, Emily.
Yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Have a good day, everybody, and a great weekend.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.